Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. I'm Zara Premji, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Markham, Ontario, Canada, and I am here for my weekly Facebook crafting show. And so for those of you that are joining me for the first time, I usually go live at around 2 p.m. on Wednesdays to do some live crafting. And I typically pick a stamp set or a bundle or a suite of products, and then I create usually 3 projects with that. And so today we're going to be using one of the stamp sets that's come out in our new annual catalog, which I love. It's called Happiest of Birthdays. I know you're looking at that backwards, and when I flip the camera down, you'll be able to see it oriented correctly. But it's a fantastic stamp set. It's got 4 stamps only, and they're perfect for birthdays. And I know that most of the people that I tend to craft with, and people that have attended my classes, tend to want to mostly do birthday cards. Of course, lots of other occasions, including Christmas, which is coming up, and anniversaries and things like that. But when I ask people what kinds of cards they make the most, usually they are birthday cards. So we're going to be doing 3 simple birthday cards today. 2 are really simple, and one of them is a fun fold card, but it's not difficult to do. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of being able to make that fun fold card. And so I hope you'll stick around with me and watch till the end. If you're watching live, please say hello. And of course, if you're watching the replay, please let me know that as well. I love when I get comments in the feed, and it just makes me feel like I'm not talking to myself. So please comment below, tell me what you think of the projects, even tell me where you're watching from and what you're up to today. I would love to hear from you, and it certainly helps me feel like there's some engagement and interaction happening. So I'll be showing you very shortly the 3 cards that we're going to be making, and I will take you through the steps of being able to make them. And I'll show you where the products are in the catalog so that if you are watching along with your annual catalog, you can find them there. If you like the project and you would like the materials to be able to make these at home, I will list the supplies in the description. And if you do want to place an order in my online store of $35 or more, I will send you the materials for the projects, so that you can make them on your own. And if your order is $50 or more, in addition to getting the make and take project, so the supplies for the project, you will also get a free embellishment from me. So I will be giving away these butterfly gems to anybody that places an order of $50 or more. And you will see from the projects that they coordinate really nicely with the colors that I've chosen for our projects. And the other thing is, if you do share this video on your own timeline or on your own feed, I'm also going to be entering you into a drawing for a free Simply Chamois. For those of you that have been watching my videos for a while, I use this all the time. Mine is very well loved, but this is what I use most often to clean my stamps. So I'm giving one of these away for free. All you need to do is share the video with anybody that you think might enjoy it, and just let me know that you've shared it by commenting below. So I'm going to pause and just say hello. I see a bunch of people have jumped on, so I'm just going to say hi, Rana. Hello, Elaine. Hi, Lisa, Indy, Carmen, Kelly. Hello, Sharon. Thank you all for joining me. I love being able to see your names pop up on the screen, so I appreciate you being here with me today. I think I might just actually flip the camera down and then share a few announcements. Actually, the one I will share with you before I flip the camera down is I am actually going to be holding an online buy one, get one free sale. So normally I take all of my retired product and I put it out on a number of different tables, and I invite people to come and shop live, and they get to buy anything that they want from my retired table. And then they get equal value in the new catalogs for free. So because of this pandemic, and normally at my buy one, get one sales, I have lots and lots of people coming through. So given the pandemic and that we need to continue to physical distance, that's not safe for anybody. So I will not be doing it in person at this time. So I will be doing it online. So make sure that you come back to my page in a day or two, because I'm going to be posting details. It'll all be done via Facebook. So it'll be done through a private, it's not a private, but a separate Facebook group where I will be posting albums and albums and albums of all of my retired products. So stamp sets, bundles, dies, punches, paper, embellishments, ribbon. I have kits. I have so much stuff that I need to clear. And I would love for my retired items to go to a new and good home, someone that will enjoy them. So just watch out for the details here. I will be posting a link that you can use to join the Facebook group, and there will be lots more details posted. So that is actually starting this Sunday, and it's going to go through to Thursday. So I believe the dates are the 26th to the 30th, but look out for more details on that, and I'll definitely mention it in my Facebook Live next week because the sale will still be going on then. Okay, so I'm going to flip you down, and then we are going to get started with some crafting, okay? Here we go. Just look away for a second. Okay. Let me see if I can get this a little bit more centered. Okay, so actually, hang on. I feel like I'm off the screen a little bit. Okay, so you can see at the top, who doesn't love to shop? That's right, Rana. So you can see at the top of the screen here that I have my host code for this month. And so this is the code that you will use if you want to place an order and get the free embellishment with a $50 or more order. Here's my online store, zara.stampinup.net. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a direct message or comment below, and I am more than happy to help you. So as I mentioned, we're going to be making some birthday cards, and we're using the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set. I love the different fonts of the sentiments in this set. Like I said, there are 4 sentiments, and they're actually quite big. So this one in particular, wishing you the happiest of birthdays, it's a pretty large stamp, which will take up kind of the majority of your card front, which is awesome. And then this one here, I also love, happy little bit late birthday, because I do tend to be late with my birthday cards. So I feel like this kind of was made for me. And I'm going to show you something really cool that you can do with this if you want to remove the little bit late part. Then there's just a simple block font happy birthday stamp, and then there's it's your day, enjoy it. So it's a really nice variety of fonts and sentiments. I really like that. If you're looking for this in our annual catalog, you will find it on page 103, and you can see it here as well as a few samples, one of which has inspired one of my projects today. And I'm also going to be using a lot of the products that coordinate in the Playing with Patterns suite. So that's on pages 100 and 101. And so we'll be using the designer series paper, and we will be using the little resin dots, which are over here. And I just love the colors and the patterns on this paper. So they make really fun birthday cards. And what I'm going to show you is that you can make really, really simple cards with just these stamps, some ink, and some paper, okay? The other item that we're going to be using, which I will show you, is the camouflage stamp. So we have some really awesome background stamps. The buffalo check one is fantastic. This is the first time today that I have used the camouflage, and I love camo everything. And so we're going to have some fun with that and some color. So without further ado, I will get started with the crafting. I'm just going to pull this up on my screen to make sure that I can see the comments. And here we go. All right, so if you have any comments, questions, please feel free to let me know. The first card we are going to start with is a really simple card using Purple Posy cardstock and the Playing with Patterns Designer Series paper. I want to show you the paper. So here is just a sampler where you can see the different patterns in the Designer Series paper. These are just 2x2 squares, and it shows you the front and back of each of the papers. So there are, how many sheets are in here? There are 48 sheets, and it's 6x6, and you get 4 sheets of each design. And these are the colors that coordinate with it. So we've got Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Crushed Curry, Night of Navy, Purple Posy, and Whisper White. And then on the back, you'll see that there are some other patterns to choose from. So really good variety, lots of great patterns for both masculine or feminine, adult, or cards for children. So lots of different options here with this paper. And the card that we're going to be doing is currently I've done it on a purple posy card base, but the one that I'm going to be showing you today on the live is actually on a petal pink. So petal pink is not actually one of the colors that coordinates on the back of the paper pack, but if you look at the actual dots on this paper, you can see that there is a really light pale pink on here. And so I decided to pull that out because I love pink, and so I wanted to make a card with that. So I'm just going to pull that aside. And I'll just take out what I need for this card. Does anybody out there have this stamp set yet? And if so, have you started playing with it? I hope that this inspires you to get out the stamp set and start using it. And if you don't already have it, it's definitely one that I think is going to be really versatile, and you'll see that it'll just help you make really quick birthday cards. So I have cut a card base which measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I have scored that at 5 1/2. So this is just your standard card base. And then I have cut another coordinating piece of cardstock which measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. So I've just taken 1/4 of an inch off of each side to make it just a little bit smaller than the card base. And then with this designer series paper, I only actually went 1/8 of an inch smaller. So this designer series paper measures 3 7/8, and this long side measures 5 1/8. And so before I lose any pieces, I'm going to actually stick this right down onto my first layer. I don't want to stick this down onto my card base as yet because I'm actually going to wrap some ribbon around it. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And then we will do some stamping. Hello, Indy. You do have the stamp set. Yes. Have you started using it? I think you're going to be playing with this soon, aren't you? Okay. So I'm going to take out the large stamp. You can see the size of it. What does it measure? Let me just check quickly. So the actual stamp measures about 3 1/2 inches by about 2 3/4. So it's a really large stamp. And when I'm using large stamps, I tend to want to ink them upside down. I'm just using Night of Navy. So again, I'm pulling the colors from the designer series paper, and I'm just using a die cut from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. I'll show those to you in a second. So I'm just going to press down, but I'm not rocking because I don't want to get that sort of strange shadow image. And then before I forget, I'm going to just clean this off. You can see that I've had a little bit of made a little bit of a mess on my hands with ink over the last couple of days. I actually put my fingernail right into our new Magenta Madness ink pad, and I still have some pink in my fingernails there. So been a little bit of a messy crafter recently. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there and let that ink set. Oh, thank you, Sharon. I'm glad you like it. I love petal pink, so any opportunity that I can get to use it, I will take it. Okay, so now we're going to put down some ribbon, and I'm using the Playing with Patterns ribbon combo pack. You get 3 different rolls of ribbon in that pack. So there's one that has this sort of variegated purple posy and white, and then there is a Coastal Cabana, and then a thinner Night of Navy, and they're all different textures and different widths. So it just makes it gives you a lot of really nice variety and coordinates really nicely with the paper. So I'm going to show you a little trick. Many of you probably have done this before already, but what I want to be able to do is put a bow here and give the illusion that that it's all kind of wrapped around the card. But I find that I have some difficulty with having my bows oriented the way I want them to. So what I'm going to do is pretend by taking some adhesive, and I'm just going to put 1 strip on either side. You can also use Scotch tape or anything for this because it's not going to get seen. And then I'm just going to take my ribbon and put that fairly straight. You want to do that as straight as possible. And then I'm just flipping it over and putting it on, making sure that it kind of attaches to the tape on the other side. And then I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal. I just put in a new refill in my adhesive. So this actually just came out in June, and I'm really loving it. I use it a lot, and I had to put in a refill because I have been using it quite a bit recently. Okay, so that is that for the ribbon first part, and then I'm just going to tie a bow, And so what I'm just doing is making a little loop with my left hand and then taking the remainder. I leave it on the roll when I'm tying a bow, and then I'm just going to wrap it around. And so before I pull that knot tight, I'm just kind of grabbing it with my finger so that I can pull the loops a little smaller. I don't want them huge. And I'm just going to kind of play with it a little bit here. And then once I've got them kind of to the size I want them, I'm going to pull that a little tight. And then I'm just going to puff up the little loops to give it some dimension. Make sure that they're even. It may not be perfect, but it'll still look really cute. And then I'm just going to trim off the ends here. And then I'm going to put it aside so I can stick it onto my card after I have put my sentiment on. So now I'm just going to put my sentiment on using dimensionals, and I'm going to put quite a few because this is a fairly large sentiment piece. So I'm going to actually put maybe 6 here. All right, and then peel off the backings. Hello, Anne. Yes, Indy, it was Night of Navy that I used. You can use any of the colors that are in this paper, like that coordinate with the paper pack. You can also use, because this has Purple Posy and we don't have Purple Posy ink, you can actually use a darker purple. So you could use Highland Heather or Gorgeous Grape. I think really almost any color would work well in that. I did this a little bit farther to the side just because I want to leave room for my bow and not have it covering any of the sentiment. So I'm going to use my glue dots to put the bow on. And this card will be done. So you can see how fast it is with a little bit of paper and cardstock and some ink to be able to make a really cute and simple birthday card. I do want to embellish a little bit with these resin dots. And I'm just going to use the Purple Posy one, and then I'm going to actually add one of the crushed curry just to add a little bit of color. And then I'm just going to do one more down here. And there you go. That is the first card done in 5 minutes or less. If you don't have the die cuts, which I did say I was going to show you, so I've used the Stitch So Sweetly dies. These have returned in our annual catalog. And there are 10 dies in here. So you get these awesome scalloped rectangles, which layer really nicely on each other. And then you have some other shapes that would be perfect for stamping sentiments on. And also these layer nicely on each other. So, but if you don't have dies like this that you could use to cut out your sentiments, you can just cut out a rectangle that's going to fit the stamp, and it's going to be perfectly fine. Okay, so that is card number 1. What do you think of this? And please tell me which color you like better. Do you like the petal pink or do you like the Purple Posy? I'm going to leave some of these things out because I believe I will need them for my next card. So yeah, tell me which one you like better, and yeah, I would love to hear from you about which color you prefer. So the next card I'm going to do is this card here, and I mentioned that this was inspired by the annual catalog sample. So this one here is using the camo background, and I just wanted to show you how easy it is to create a really cool background on your card, and how little effort and material is needed to be able to make this card. So this one that I did here is on Bumblebee cardstock. This is one of our new in colors. Again, I use the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and then I just use these essential wood elements. So I'm going to change it up a little bit because I like to show you some variety and just so you can see some different colors. Okay, I'm seeing some fans of Purple Posy. Indy loves Petal Pink. Yeah, so I mean, they're both really soft colors, and you could again do it on any of the colors in here. The Bumblebee, if you wanted a little bit more kind of bright, or even the Calypso Coral. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what some of you like. You're always impressed with the Petal Pink, but you love any purple. Yeah, this is a hard one to choose because I'm a huge fan of pink, but I love Purple Posy. I think it's a beautiful color. Okay, so to use the camo stamp set, I'm going to use my Stamparatus. And so what I like to do with the Stamparatus is just put a tiny little bit of adhesive here, and then I'm actually going to press down. You can see I have some remnants from the last time I did this, and I'm just pressing down because I want to remove some of the stick from the from the paper there, because I don't want my card to rip when I'm pulling it off. And then I'm going to put this down here, and I'm just going to make sure that my stamp covers. I should actually move this down a little bit. So I'm just going to bring this down, and I just want to make sure that it's covered by the stamp, but I also want to make sure that my stamp is going to stay there. Sorry, my paper is going to stay there so that in case I need to reapply ink, then I will not, you know, it'll be going in the same spot, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I am doing now is I'm just going to ink up the stamp. So I'm just going to put something underneath the plate here, and that's just to level it out. And I'm just going to use my Seaside Spray ink and just ink this up. It's kind of bubbling on my stamp, so we'll see how that turns out. I might have to quickly cut another piece. So just going to press that down. So Elaine, you like the purple posy unless there's pink ribbon for the pink one. So you like the fact that the ribbon matches? Yes. There are other ribbons that, not necessarily the petal pink. Actually, we do have a nice petal pink ribbon that would coordinate with that, which I didn't think to pull out, but there's also a really nice white thick one that comes in another one of our combo packs. Okay, that's a little blotchy. I'm not a fan of that. I'm going to clean off this stamp and see if I can try that again. I wonder if it's because I haven't used my Seaside Spray very much. If it's just... Okay, let's try that again and see if it works better this time. See, what a mess. Okay, let me see if I can flip this over. We'll do that all over again. And then, you know what? If it doesn't work, we're just gonna tell ourselves it's handmade and it's still beautiful. Okay. So we're going to try this again. Yeah, it's still bubbling a little bit. I'm not quite sure why. I have to tell you a funny story about starting over. So yesterday we were invited to Indy's house for dinner, and I said I would make dessert. So I decided to do brownies, and I used my friend's recipe, and I followed the steps as best as I could. I've made these brownies like at least 6 times before, and I followed all the steps and made the brownies. Sorry, I'm just shifting a little bit. We are off. There we go. So anyway, I did what I thought was like the full instruction set, and then they just didn't seem to be setting. I had kept them in for an extra 5 minutes and they were just not setting. They kept like shifting in the pan. So I texted my friend and I said, I'm not sure why, but the brownies are just not working out for me today. And, you know, I'm wondering what I did wrong. And she's like, did you add 1 egg instead of 2? The recipe calls for 2 eggs. And I was like, oh, I think I forgot to add the eggs. So I was distracted while I was doing the brownies. I was talking to my husband about something related to work, and then I forgot to add the eggs, which would explain why they didn't set. So because the recipe was easy enough, I ended up having, I did it again. So the way that this relates to card making is that when it comes to card making, doing these things is so easy that if you make a little mistake, it's just paper. You can start all over. Okay, so I'm hoping this works better this time. Okay, that's not too bad. I don't know why this side here doesn't want to stamp. So let me press down a little bit harder. Okay, there we go. So we've got sort of a fun camo pattern on the back of our card. And in the catalog, when they show you the camo pattern, they show you some different colors. And I think there's one that's on pink, which I think also looks really fun. So you can make a really nice feminine or masculine card with this. And let me grab the stamp. And I'm going to stamp this twice to show you a fun little thing you can do to add some versatility, even more versatility to this stamp set. So I'm just going to, again, use my Night of Navy ink. And I'm going to stamp that right here on this rectangle. It fits perfectly. Sharon, you forget to order the camouflage stamp set. Yeah, it's awesome. I've had it for a while, but I haven't actually used it until today. So it's really nice for the backgrounds. Okay, so here's what I'm going to show you. If you don't want to use the little bit late part, All you need to do is stamp it on a piece of white cardstock, and then I'm just using my big scissors here, and then you're just going to trim this down. So you can use your paper snips or any scissors, and you get just another birthday stamp. So I'm just going to cut this off actually a little closer to the happy. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're just going to trim that down. And then you do the same thing with the birthday. So you can take out the little bit late part. I'm not really cutting that straight today, but I think you get the picture. And I just like to trim really close to the sentiment. I don't want to have too much of the white border showing. So then if you do that and you know your birthday card is on time, which I'm hopeful most of you guys are on time with your birthday cards. I'm always late. So I would keep mine that way, but you can just decorate. You can put like something else behind it and then put happy birthday and then of course embellish as you wish. So another way that you can use that actual stamp set. So let's put some ribbon on here. And I'm just going to be using this is our denim 3/8 inch ribbon. And this has been around for a little bit. It's returned, which I love. I love Native Navy, so this ribbon I'm a huge fan of. Okay, and then actually before I put everything together, I'm just going to actually embellish. I'm going to embellish using these frosted and clear epoxy droplets. And I'm going to use the frosted ones. And they would look nice even just the color that they are. But I'm going to change the color and make them Seaside Spray. So I'm just going to take the brush tip of my dark Seaside Spray Stampin' Blend. And then I'm going to just color a few of these. I'm going to do 3. So I'm going to do 2 of the small and 1 of the large. And so it's not actually changing the color a whole lot. In fact, you might not even be able to see it on camera, but it's giving it like just this really nice, soft, bluish hue. So it's really kind of pretty. So I'm going to let this dry while I put the rest of my card together. And so what I'm going to do here is just take my 2 pieces of ribbon and I'm just going to put them on an angle from each other. And then I'm going to let my dimensionals do double duty. So I'm just going to stick these down. And that way I'm getting the dimension that I want, but I'm also holding my ribbon in place. So I'll cut these off, peel these off. And I just realized I haven't stuck my first layer down. So I'm going to do that quickly before I stick this down. Just going to use my Stampin' Seal and make sure I'm doing it on the right side. Okay. Yes, Indy, you will love the background stamps. There's lots of good ones to choose from. I love the buffalo check, as I mentioned. I really like the all wired up, and we have a new brushwork one, which I haven't used yet, but I have it, and I'll be playing with that one soon. So now I'm just going to put this in the middle, and then I'm just going to trim off these ends to make them a little bit more even. There we go. Oh, that one's ugly. Hang on. Okay, I'll fix that after. So there's the card, and then I'll just put some embellishments on, and the card will be done. So this layout is really simple. Again, you can use this layout for so many different cards. So if you need like a really quick card, or you just want to play around but not spend too much time, then you can definitely use this layout. And if you don't have the background stamp, you could emboss the layer using the embossing machine, or you could just use a large piece of designer series paper, or you could even just leave it plain. So lots of different possibilities for this layout. It's really cute, really simple, and it'll just mean that you'll get your birthday card out at some point, because better late than never, right? Okay, so again, inquiring minds want to know which one you prefer, which color you prefer. So let me know which one you like. Do you like the Bumblebee, or do you like the Seaside Spray? I don't know, I love the brightness of this, but I'm a really big fan of the Seaside Spray here. So I thought that one was really cute. Okay, the last one we're going to be doing is a fun fold card. And this one has a few different pieces, and I will post the measurements and instructions so that if you want to recreate it, you can. So this is like the card that keeps on giving, because it's a birthday card, it's a fun fold card, and it's got a gift card holder. So let me show you how this is going to all work. This one's going to take me a little bit longer because there's a few different steps involved in this one, including some heat embossing. So hopefully you guys can stick around with me. Hello, Carol. Thank you. Seaside Spray. Okay, so a lot of fans of the Seaside Spray. That's good to know. That's the one I like as well. So this is the card I'm going to be showing you. Like I mentioned, it's a fun fold card. So it opens up like this. And when you open it up here, you have a little gift card holder at the top. It looks, I mean, I don't know if any of you think it looks complicated. It looks more complicated than it actually is. And if you wanted to stand the card up, there's a little star here that I've added on using a little dimensional. And it just tucks like this, so that I'm going to show you this way so you can kind of see. But if I wanted to stand it up, it would just tuck into the little star. And the star, because we do have a set of dies with the stitch stars, but I don't have those, and I wanted a tiny little star for this. So I actually used a star from the Warm Wraps dies. You will not have seen these in the annual catalog because they are a new item in our mini catalog, which is our holiday catalog. And this is actually paired with an entire suite that has mini coffee cups, and it creates these gorgeous wraps for your cups, and then it's got some little shapes there. So really cute set of dies, very versatile. So that's definitely one you'll want to put on your list for when you can order from the holiday catalog if you haven't already. Okay, and if you do want to order from the holiday catalog right away, then you can buy the Stampin' Up! Starter Kit, and that will give you the opportunity to pre-order from the holiday catalog. Okay, so you can see this has a few more pieces, and I promise I will post these instructions. I do have them here. So you need 3 pieces of cardstock. So you're going to need your card base, and so that's measuring 4 1/4 by 11, and it's scored at 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. So if you're putting it in your trimmer, you'll start with 2 3/4 and then score at 5 1/2. So you're basically just taking 1/2 of it and then dividing it in half. Then you need another piece that measures 3 1/2 by 9 inches, and you're going to score that halfway at 4 1/2. And then you need a piece of white cardstock, and this is going to measure 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches. Okay, so that's it for the cardstock. And then you need your designer series paper. So you need a piece that measures 2 1/2 by 4. This is going to be on the front of your card. And I want to make sure I've cut that right. Yeah. And then this is the part where you're going to create this little gift card holder, and that measures 3 by 4. And then I have one more little piece here of coordinating designer series paper that measures 1/2 inch by 3 inches. And then I've again used the Stitch So Sweetly dies and cut out a bumblebee scalloped rectangle. So let me start by actually doing the sentiment, and then I can show you all the assembly at once. So I'm going to just quickly heat emboss this. So I'm just going to use my embossing buddy. If you don't have an embossing buddy, you can use a bounce sheet, like a dryer sheet, or you can even use, if you have the Swiffer dusters, this is not a plug for Swiffer dusters, but any of those refills, you can just wipe the top of that. And the purpose of it is really to just take away the natural oils from the cardstock so that your embossing powder doesn't stick to it. I know lots of you watching are avid crafters, so you already know that. And so I'm just sharing that for anyone that's kind of new to stamping or heat embossing. So now I'm just using my Versamark watermark ink, and I'm just I'm just kind of really inking that up so that I can transfer that to my rectangle here. So I'm going to press down and then lift that up. And now I'm going to put down my embossing powder. So I've got my white embossing powder in a little container here, and I've got these tiny little wooden spoons, which I had used for a project, a 3D project a while back. And so I'm just gonna put some embossing powder on here and then let it just fall into the container. I still managed to get embossing powder all over my desk surface, even though it should be going right into the container, but it's definitely less of a mess than the way that I used to do it. Okay, so I'll close that up, and I'm just going to grab my heat tool and quickly heat set this. So pardon the noise. You can see when it's starting to change and become that sort of glazed, shiny finish. Almost done. All right. Okay, so that is heat set. So I will put this aside while I assemble the rest of the card. So I need my bone folder now, and I'm just going to fold on the score lines and just crease them really nicely. And then where I've scored the 5.5, I'm actually going to fold upwards. And then I'm going to fold the next piece downwards, okay? So you're alternating. So one's going up and one's going down. And you just want that to be a really nice good crease there. Okay, and so then next I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to stamp the inside with the sentiment that says, "It's your day, enjoy it." Do that really quickly, and I'm going to do that in Night of Navy. So, okay. So you can see this looks like actual brush lettering, the way it's got kind of like the variation in the intensity of the ink. So I love that. And so I'm going to stick that down onto here. So I'm just going to put some adhesive. I'm actually going to put it directly on the purple posy. And just stick that down. I'm just careful not to touch the Night of Navy ink. And then I'm going to create this little gift card holder piece. So I'm just using a 1-inch circle punch. This, I believe, has now retired. You could use any of our circle punches. So even if you have a 1.5 inch or 2-inch, you can create just a slightly wider mouth there. And I'm going to use some tear and tape. So I'm just going to tear this right off, and I'm going to put it pretty close to the edge because I want to make sure I have room for my gift card holder. Sorry, for my gift card. I give out a lot of gift cards these days for birthdays, especially now because, you know, we're trying to avoid going into stores to shop. I tend to do a lot of gift cards for people. So it's nice to be able to present it in a way that just makes it really fun and cute. So I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool to lift off the backing here. Whoops. And then do the same thing on the other 2 strips. How many are feeling that they would attempt this fun fold card? Sharon, I know you said you love fun fold cards, so I'm assuming you've done them before. But I wanted to show this because I thought while it might look a little bit intimidating, it's actually quite simple to do if you have the instructions and follow the steps. So I'm just going to stick that down, and I'm just actually going to pull the gift card out of my first card just so that you can see how nicely this slides in. All right, so there's that. And so this is going to go, you're going to stick this down like that, and then it's going to go over the front of the card, okay? So I'm going to actually go a little closer to the top. And actually, before I do that, I think I'm going to put some ribbon on. So I will use the Coastal Cabana ribbon for this one. You can see I'm working with a new pack here. Okay, Indy, you'll do this for sure. And yes, Sharon, gift card holders are fantastic. Okay, so where you're going to tie your ribbon is you want to cover the part that has the gift card, okay? So you're not doing it over where the sentiment is stamped on the inside. You're going to do it where the gift card is. And I'm just going to wrap this around, and I'm going to show you a little cheat that I do, because I mean, if somebody has a way for me to get my bows oriented the way I want them to, let me know. I can do it with linen thread, I can do it with twine, but for some reason with ribbon, I struggle, and they always kind of go opposite to the direction I want them to go. So I'm just holding the knot real tight and then pulling the ends so that the loops get a little bit smaller. I don't want them to be too overbearing. Now here's my cheat. I don't want the tails going pointing towards the inside of the card. I want it to be kind of facing the outside. So I'm carefully pulling from the inside and just shifting it so that my bow ends up on the other side of my card. I'm sure that there's a more professional, technical way to do this, but that's my cheat. Okay, so I'm now going to just cut off the ends here. And now I can put this onto my card, okay? So I'm changing up the colors here a little bit because that's how I roll, and I'm just searching for my regular dimensionals. I can only seem to find my minis. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna stick these on. Okay, so Sharon, you've been told to do it upside down. Okay, maybe that's the trick. I think that's kind of what I do with the linen thread, so maybe I just need to do that with the ribbon. I'm going to try that actually and see if it works. Okay, so I'm just going to put this down like so. And before I stick that on, I just want to put down my designer series paper on the front. We're almost done, guys. This is the final card and the final, we're getting to the home stretch here. So I'm just going to put the designer series paper on the front. I've used some different patterns. You can see the different patterns. They all coordinate really nicely. And then I'm going to attach my smaller piece here. So I'm going to just put, oh, I might actually just do this right onto here. Okay, my snail is fighting with me today. You could use any adhesive you want. I may have gone a little bit high on this. So then I'm just going to stick that down where my adhesive is, okay? And then the last step is to put down that little star. So when you are putting this down, you want to put the dimensional not on the actual star because you don't want to end up sticking it down to that piece. So you're going to actually stick the dimensional just underneath where this smaller part of the card goes, okay? So like where your sentiment flap is, you're just going to put it underneath and then stick your star on like so. So then what's going to happen is you can open it like that, and then when you want to stand it up, you're just going to, I know that's hard to see, but you're just going to put it like that, and then it will stand on its, oops, it should stand on its own. There we go. All right, so that is the last card. This is the Fancy Fold card. And again, tried a couple of different colors. Tell me which one you're a fan of, if you like it better on the Bumblebee or if you liked it better on the Night of Navy. And I'll pull in the other card so you can see. So I'm a huge fan of the Purple Posy. And as I mentioned, I'm giving away a free set of the butterfly gems for anybody that places an order of $50 or more in my online store. You will also get a set of the make and takes that we made today, okay? So you'll actually get the Seaside Spray, and you'll get the paper that you might get. The Designer Series paper will look a little different perhaps because there's not too many of the same sheet, but you will get coordinating Designer Series paper. So this I'll be giving away for free, and like I mentioned, there's some colors that coordinate nicely with the projects that we did today. And if you want the make and take kits for free, then all you need to do is place an order in my online store for $35 or more, and I will send you all the cardstock and materials, including the ribbon and the gems that you need to be able to make the projects. So I'm just going to flip you back so I can say goodbye. So give me 1 second. Camera turned a little bit. So I wanted to say thank you so much for joining me. I can see lots of people preferred the Night of Navy. I think I preferred the Night of Navy as well. It looks, I think the sentiment looks really sharp on the navy. So if I'm sending out make and take packets, I probably will do the Night of Navy on it. But I wanted to say thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions or if you're watching the replay, please feel free to comment below. I will be back here next Wednesday around the same time with some new projects for you. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now.